welcome to another edition of the Finally podcast. I am Tamika Carlton, the Director of Marketing at Bottle Rocket Media, and this is Dan.
Hi, sorry, I'm turning off my notifications. Yes, I'm Dan Fisher. Just to add a little context, it is the day before Thanksgiving.
Yes,
We have been working hard,
very.
and everybody could use a break.
I agree.
So I think perhaps we're a little bit less organized than usual.
I
But
would agree.
with that said, Tamika, what are we talking about today?
Well, you were starting to talk about someone calling you for advice.
Oh, yeah, it was just one of those fun conversations. I've been having them more and more lately. Not because I'm getting older, but I think because my kids are getting older. Um, about, somebody, recent college grad, looking for ideas on how to get into the business.
Hmm.
Sometimes they went to school for film or communications. Other times, like this guy, barely even knows what end of the camera to look through,
Oh my gosh.
And it was a cool conversation for a lot of reasons. But I think what stood out the most was we talked a lot about, it's easy to fall into the trap in this business of learning a skill and selling a skill, right? Whether the skill is editing or, on the marketing side, the skill is being an expert in SEO, right? But what I continue to say over and over again to these kids is you have to, of course, learn those skills, but what will separate you is the ability to think independently, to be critical in your thinking, and to challenge yourself to grow and learn and think outside the box. Because you and I are perfect examples. Like, we do what we do really well, and we've been doing it for a long time. But I think what has sustained us and what is allowing us to now grow significantly
Yep.
is that every time we talk to a client, we have something to add
Yep.
beyond the basic service.
That's very true. I mean, like, how did he come up with it? Was he just like, I just want to try it? I mean,
He graduated in May or the previous May, and has a job, and decided that life is too short. He has a creative urge. He has a storytelling, thoughts in his journey that he wants to do, but he's not sure. He's not sure. Does he want to edit? Does he want to direct? Does he want to own a business? Like, it was too much.
I
It
mean,
was
I feel like
way too much.
that's
But
the best place to be where you're kind of confused, but then you get an opportunity to like start from kind of scratch and then learn a little bit of everything.
especially in your 20s,
Exactly. Like
you
that's the whole
know?
point.
Yeah, I had to laugh at him at first, and it's so I hate doing this because I don't even I never even met the kid in person, but the conversation started with, "Oh, I'm so far behind in life.
No.
I wish I had done this when I was in school," right? And he's 23, and
So
I'm
young.
like, "You are not behind. You are right on time. This is the time to experiment, to try different things."
Yep.
If you're fortunate enough where you can live at home and you're not worried about rent,
Listen.
all the better,
Can I live
right?
at home? No.
And right, exactly. And if you got to pay the rent, you got to pay the rent. But
Yep.
that's not a reason not to necessarily explore other things. Because I mean, I started this business at 40. I
I mean, I feel like
I didn't know I was doing it at 35.
right. I feel like I mean, I tell Kayla this, our intern, that like get your hands dirty in all aspects of marketing and then figure out
Right,
what you're good at and what you love and then like go all in on that.
right,
But
right.
anyone that's more marketable in this day and age are the folks that have experience across the board versus just one skill, like you said.
Right, right, right. And this is one of the few times where I actually was like, I actually said, film school sounds like a good idea.
Oh, that's good.
Because if you know nothing,
Yeah.
you don't know, do you like
You get to
editing? Do
start
you
from
like directing? Do
scratch.
you
Yeah,
like
that's nice.
writing, producing, like all the facets? Much like you said, get involved in all aspects of marketing. You know, um, if you don't know, you just don't know.
Well, and I think even with Kayla, like I forgot. I'm like, Kayla was an intern. Now she's
I
a
was just
full
about
time.
to correct you. Yes.
Yes, correct me, please. But she was an intern. Now she is a full time marketing coordinator, content strategist for us. And one of the reasons that that happened was because she like got her hands dirty in all things and was showing her effort and proactiveness, and she got a promotion. So it's like
Yeah.
that's what you want. You want to get into a place, a startup where you can work alongside all of the people doing all of the things,
Yeah.
and that'll help you much better. So,
Yeah, I agree. Can I just take a second to talk about Kayla as one of
yes,
our
please.
intern successes?
Yes,
We've had a couple over the years,
yes.
but Kayla's the most recent, and it's always exciting when someone comes in, you know, fresh
I
and
know,
it's
right?
ready to take on the world,
Right.
and we just beat her into submission just a little bit, so that she's like, "Yeah, I guess I have no place else to go. I'll stay
Right.
here."
Right. We're like, please stay.
No, she's
She's
great, and
awesome.
I really do. I really do. It's probably one of my greatest excitements in this job is when we bring on somebody new on the
Yeah, me
team,
too.
but also when they come up from through the ranks.
That's what you're supposed to be doing.
That's right. Prove yourself. Prove
Yes.
yourself. Try
Yes.
everything. Yeah.
Yes. And figure it out. And you have time. Like, don't
Yeah.
rush.
Yeah. I feel like I'm just getting started.
I know. Me too. And I just turned 40.
You did.
But,
So I just talked to my dad. Turned 80 today.
oh man, happy
And
birthday,
he
Dad.
was saying he feels, he is always saying 29, but he's like, I can't believe I'm 80 and I feel this good. I feel like I got a bonus that no one else my age got.
Ooh.
He's really spry, or he thinks he is.
He thinks
But it's attitude,
that's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel great. I feel like 40 is like, I'm about to hit it big. Who's ready?
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Good.
Well, that's great. Well, kind of changing topics. I was having a thought. Well, two things. We have one, I was having a thought about just long form video content versus short form video content. And I think it's worthy of a conversation because I feel like people kind of forget long form video content these days. We're a little stuck on short form because of social media. And I want to challenge people to think about both. One, short form, and you give me your idea too, but short form to me is very valuable when it comes to like teasers or promos and just kind of showcasing a piece of something that you want to share, and obviously sharing it on social media. And there are restrictions on time limits on social in a lot of ways. But I think, we were even talking about this with kind of like a client strategy session the other day about how you don't have enough time to really provide a story in a short form video. And like long form really provides you with an opportunity to dig deeper and like create more of an impactful, like resonating connection with your audience. And I think a lot of people are doing themselves a disservice not having long form content. What do you think?
Yes. I mean, I think it comes from a few different areas. One are the platforms with which most of our clients are promoting themselves, and then the ones that do embrace YouTube, which I consider
Right.
the long form platform. They don't know how to tell a story in a long period of time, and
Right.
a lot of times there's not budget because they need to reach this many different people. Right now everyone's marketing plan is much more broader than it used to be. But yeah, I mean, if you're trying to get to know somebody, you can do it in 130-second clips, or you could do 30 minutes, right? And I know a lot of times budget gets in the way, but I'd say there's probably a sweet spot, and depending on what the story is, like not everything's a feature film, not
Of
everything is required to be extra long, but I think it's nice every now and then to allow your audience to go deeper,
Yes.
and it requires more money.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what we keep running up against. People become so used to spending less money on the short form, on the real short form, and then anywhere from 6 seconds to say like 6 minutes,
Right.
that to say, hey, we want to do 15 minutes, we want to do 30 minutes, like a real documentary or a real, featurette. It's hard. It's hard to get them to convince them that the return on investment will be there.
I mean, I get it, but I feel like, and this is why I wanted to have this conversation. Like, I feel like there's so much more to it when you have a long form video, because so many people can connect in multiple areas. I'm even thinking about recently, there's been so many more documentaries on Netflix that I'm like so invested in. And I think a lot of people are starting to kind of move more towards long form and just wanting to see the behind the scenes of things versus and the why behind the story and the why behind the brand, or the why, behind why I should even be invested in this. And I just want
Yeah,
to challenge companies and brands and people to look at both as options and opportunities when it's fitting, and thinking about how you can get an ROI when you think about, okay, I can create a longer form video, but how can I cut it up to have multiple different segments or shorter form videos out of, you
for
know.
sure, for sure. I think people don't think big like that anymore. They really keep things in the box. I'm always proud and impressed when we can do anything under 3 minutes and show complexity beyond like a one-dimensional story. Show multiple messages, multiple people, and it's possible. It's really about knowing your audience and what is your audience gonna want to see. And I think we're getting the opportunity to do more of it, but I think for a while there wasn't even research done, or it was mandated who the audience is or what type of video we're making. And now you're seeing people, to your point, taking a step back and looking at the long game and
Yeah.
doing more research on their brand and getting to know their audience better before they pull
Yep.
the trigger to write or create a video.
Well, I love that. I mean, I'm surprised that I'm saying that I am enjoying long form content.
I know.
The scrolling through your timelines on social is great, and having the short form. And some things obviously are not intriguing enough for me to watch past 10 seconds, whatever it may be. But I have been more invested in longer form video. So,
Congratulations, you're
well,
exercising a different part of your brain.
thank you, Dan. I'm really grateful for that acknowledgement. Another thing
Yeah,
we can discuss.
yeah.
Dan sent me this wonderful Instagram video today.
I was just looking for my phone. Who was it? I'm blanking on the name.
His name is Professor Galloway.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Sage wisdom from Professor Galloway. And basically, if I remember the clip that I sent you correctly,
Hopefully.
his note is, like so many others, get out there, take advantage of the platforms, become an expert, become a personality, become somebody that is desirable to work with. But what I hadn't heard before, which I really appreciated, is choose your platform, because they all require and invite something different.
Yes.
And you have to find what works for you.
For you. Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was inspired to send it to you, because I'm not convinced that I have found my platform.
Oh my gosh. I'm not convinced either. I'm like, which one is going to be your platform? I cannot wait.
Right, right.
I would go on a limb and say your platform will probably be Instagram.
So it
I could
it
be
should
wrong.
be, but I feel like I'm not prolific enough. I feel like you have to constantly be posting on Instagram.
Well, you have to be he even said this too. You have to be constantly posting everywhere. Wherever you choose,
Right.
you have to post consistently. But I think you're overthinking, like, should I post this? What do I want to post? Should I post something like this? Is this
Well,
going to resonate enough? I think it's just about just finding your niche, posting, And
I'm
then, as Professor Galloway said too, perfect it over time.
yes. Well, that's something you've been telling me for a long time, and I
Just
and I
post.
appreciate you for that. Yeah, no, you're right, but I've just spent so long behind the scenes, developing other people's messages that what I don't completely know what my message is, and so
Yeah,
that's why
you forgot what
everything
your
gets
message
run
is.
through the mill 25 times. You
Well,
know?
and I also think it's a matter of like just doing it, and then you'll figure out, okay, really don't want to talk about this. I really
Right.
don't want to keep posting about this. You'll grow into it, but if you're just waiting until you have this perfect idea every day, it's not going to happen.
I'm starting to, get to the end of my options, and I've narrowed down things I want to say and don't want to say,
Uh-huh.
but I can't just get up. Good morning, everybody. Here's what I had for breakfast, and
No, that's not.
I'm
That's
just
not
nobody
great.
cares.
No,
Nobody cares.
and it would only be eggs.
True.
How
True.
many different ways can you perfect your eggs?
Many.
Well,
That's
people
a
may want to hear
subject
that.
that never gets old to me.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
so funny.
We could do eggs with Dan Fisher podcast. I don't think so.
No, but somebody may relate. I think the point is that we need to see your personality
Yes.
and like who Dan is behind the videos.
Who is Dan behind the videos?
Who is Dan
Yeah.
behind the videos? Maybe
Yeah.
that's what it should be called. Like, who
Yeah.
is Dan?
There.
I mean, maybe you could be like a film school advisor.
Oh, you mean like top 5 films that
Yeah,
Tamika
and like
hasn't
the
seen?
why. Like, why are these the top 5 films? Like,
Sure. Yeah.
be
That's an original idea.
the new Ebert.
The new Ebert. I could be that.
Yeah, Roger and Ebert.
I still think nobody would care.
But you don't know yet until you try.
true.
And that's the thing. You always are trying to figure out if people will care. You'll be surprised what people care about. Tell
Yeah,
us.
send in your suggestions. What do
Yes.
you want me to talk about on a weekly basis?
You know a lot. You know about film. You know about creative stuff. You know about editing.
I can talk
you know
about a lot of stuff. Small business
small
operations.
business. I mean,
I could talk about Brett Singer.
you can talk about marketing and SEO now here and there. You can
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
being a family man. I mean, there's so many
Coffee,
things.
music.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I did a podcast not that long ago. I went to talk about a TV show, and then while I was talking to these guys, I realized that we had a bunch of music in common, and we wound up talking for an hour about music. I don't think they could use it
Because it was about music and not about
because it
TV.
was the wrong
Yeah.
topic. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I just wanted you to start talking. And that is
You
why
know?
this podcast exists. And it's called the Finally Podcast because finally we are talking.